This is Mog, and that's Jack, and we're gonna talk about Overwatch.
Woo! Yeah, Overwatch. Oh, so, did we enjoy playing the game?
Any game I can play for more than, like I said, 3 hours in one sitting, 4 hours in one sitting, I know I'm enjoying my time because I did not see that time go by. But was there frustrations, little frustrations? Yes, like long wait times when I'm in a group. I don't know what that's about. I'm hoping that's just for the beta, but anytime that Jack and I or another friend of mine, Batman, and I were doing our not the Batman, a Batman, we're playing in groups, it would seem that the wait time would...
It would like 5, 10, yeah, like 3 to 5 minutes.
10 minutes is kind of an extreme.
Well, I mean, it would be sometimes like between games, like where you search for a game, and then it seems like we're starting to play, and then it like shuffles everybody around, like what seemed like 2-3 minutes into a round. So I'm gonna count that as part of it. So like 7 minutes was probably the worst we had because we got in. We're wandering around the little in-game area of the plane that we dropped in on. The door opens. We're all flooding out, thinking it's a game. Then all of a sudden, as we're engaging the people for about 2 minutes, it tells me to pick a new character, and then it starts all over. I'm like, oh.
That wasn't bad.
At least I was playing.
You were doing something. It was deathmatchy. There was no points, and you got to experience your character. When there wasn't an objective, they didn't say, free play or something. But when there was an objective, there was something there. So, in essence, when I first start playing around, I don't look at the objective. I just run towards whatever, the other side. And then it begins to dawn on me, somewhere between 15 to 20 seconds into the round, hey, there's nothing here. But by that time, I've already killed, like, one person, or I've already evaded, got out of the way, or whatever. And now I'm starting to try to figure out, oh, well, why am I doing this, So it does draw a unique counterpoint to, although it's there, it makes me as a gamer feel like, why am I trying? Why am I doing anything? Like, for that hyper-competitive guy, for that dude that wants the points, that wants the rise. Which I noticed there was no ranking. Did you see that? I mean, there was levels.
Yes, there were levels, but yeah, like you said, no real ranking.
There was no ranking, so this means inherently you could be playing someone, and this goes back to my argument, what we discussed before the recording, about like comparing it to Eve in 514, okay? And I might as well just crack that can of beer open right now. Okay, so we're just gonna complete jump here. Eve came out with a game called Dust 514. I'll let you describe it since you were the Eve player and I'm the Warcraft player, so.
As it was supposed to be integrated into Eve, it was supposed to be the ground base attack for the space side of things. So if we were engaging on a planet, the space people could have a major engagement above the planet, and then when a player on the ground was able to put down a beacon, we could just hammer the crap out of whatever the beacon was thrown down on, which was all sorts of cool from the space side. It made reasons to actually play around planets other than, hey, look, we caught somebody at Planet 6. Now everyone needs to land here. Oh, look, their friends come back to save them. Now we have an engagement on Planet 6.
But this still is not hallmarking to the point I'm trying to make about this. Eve in a first-person shooter game is a bunch of Eve people didn't know what to perceive with this, and some of them went to go play this game, right? You said some, but not all. I am not going to assume this is a false paradigm or something. I'm not going to assume that all Eve players know how to play first-person shooters, and inherently, I'm going to most accurately state that not all first-person shooter gamers understand Eve, even at a fundamental level, like of the, knowing that it has spreadsheets, just knowing that, so this is my problem. And now we move to Blizzard, where Blizzard has Activision backing them as far as being able to build a solid shooter, which is what it was. Overwatch was a solid shooter. But all of the players I can imagine from Blizzard's properties Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3. I don't know what chunk of their playtime, especially a heavy World of Warcraft player. I mean, like, I'm talking one of the does raids every day, or we're talking one of those Diablo dudes that just stays killing, like, in Nightmare 5 or whatever the hell, like, they go up to now. They did it in Diablo 2. People, like, they didn't even have all that expansion stuff, and they just kept doing, and, like, that's what they play in their main time, okay? So their skills, their combat assessments are all inherently based in those strategies from those games, right? Just like I would assume Eve player would play Dust 514 and be like, they could take some things of the game of the lore, but when it comes down to combat skill, how well can you hold a gun? How well can you shoot your target?
Yeah, that and, well, most people who play Eve put all their time into it. It was a second. There's a big joke about it being, it's a second job you pay for. So here's this game on a completely different console that we would have to basically disengage. There's something about, anyway, getting off the topic, but you're trying to basically engage this group of people who are just cemented and found in the foundation that you have built already, and say, here's a completely different game.
You, sir, just hit the nail on the head. Buddy, Batman, I told you he was playing with me, right? And this dude played Blacklight Retribution. I don't know if you played that. Blacklight Retribution was known for being ultra twitchy. In fact, it had a huge hacker base, and like it's still a fun kind of game. It might still be out there on Steam. I haven't played it in a dog's age, so I'd have to check it. But this was like within the last 5 years, one of the like more up-to-date shooters. You know what I mean? Competitive. People were all getting into it. Yeah, its whole premise was competitive shooting. And when I played against Batman on this, he whooped my ass. Like, I just, I see myself as a 0 or a 1-1 player. I will get 1 kill for every 1 death that I have. And now herein lies the problem. I know I'm this. I'm not going to act like I'm not. I'm not going to try. I will make a highlight reel of me kicking ass, taking names. But now I'm seeing whose ass I'm kicking. And it's not people from CSGO. And it's not people from Call of Duty. I'm beating up little kids, and I can't be proud of myself for that. Like, when I played Hanzo, I got so many 5-in-a-row kills with that stupid dragon, and I'm sure there's a lot of they're supposedly balanced. All of the characters are supposedly balanced through all the alpha play, but man, I'm gonna tell you, I felt, even though that game was on par, it felt to me like I was stepping on people who played only Warcraft, only Diablo, never shot in their life. This isn't to say I never ran across my equal, or better. Like, every now and then, every like 2 or 3 rounds, I'd run across somebody just like me. And then I started realizing the ratio. In my head, I was like, more often than not, I would, it would be a victory anytime I was on the team. You saw this when you and I were on the team. It was like we just like cascaded over whoever was there, and we maybe lost 1 or 2. Now this could be also Blizzard's just brilliant matchmaking. Like, let's go back to the comment I made about there being no ranking. Because there's no ranking in this game, I don't know what kind of character I'm going up against. So the dude I'm playing against could have an elo, or I'm sorry, a laddered position that is well above mine at my breathing rate. You know what I mean? At my capacity, because that might actually make me want to play this a little more. And that sounds kind of a shithead thing to say, but I'm gonna be real. If I know that I'm competing against people who are just in my range, I'm always gonna break people in my range, because it's those variants that kill me. Like when I get into matches where I've dealt with like 5 of me, 4 of me, and I've done it, you know what I mean? Where you've talked to people who have played PC games since the dawn of Doom 95, It's just, it's what it is. It's people are going to, it's like they're going to play a game based on their skill and capacity. This game is nothing new, so everybody has the skills to port into this game. And my fear, of course, is that all these WoW players, especially, but there could be kids never played a first-person shooter in their life, Parents thought there was too dangerous or too, whatever. They're finally like 16 or something now, right? And Overwatch is out. And this is their first person shooter. And that's kind of an odd thing. Are they getting stepped on too? Or are they being put in good matchmaking situations? Hey Jack, what did you think of the multiplayer?
I think, well, when we were doing our Heroes of the Storm, we're kind of also it's also kind of the same thing. I'm wondering if they're using kind of the same math there, because if it's us two, it's all right. It takes a minute to 2 minutes longer than what seems like the average to get into a game. And if we have 3, it seems to be a little longer. When we have 4, it takes forever, it seems like. I have never tried it with 5 people, actually. Oh, well, no, can't. No, we did have 5. I had 5 once, and it seemed to take forever, too. It's like, well, now we have 5 people who've kind of done what they want with the group. Now we have to shuffle somebody that might be... Shuffle 5 people that might actually be good against it. There's, like, I think some sort of weird modifier that tries to bring people who could possibly beat you in, even though they're not in the same team, or not in a team together. Because obviously if there's 5 people, they're communicating. And at least most of the time they would be communicating. Or they've trained together.
So not necessarily a thumbs down on the whole multiplayer experience, just on group development.
Yeah, I think honestly, if we could ask them that question, is like, what are you guys doing with your stats in the background between each match, or when looking for a match, we'd actually be happy the fact they're actually trying to give us a good experience. Now, if it's just like, no, there's nothing, it's just random, I'm like, well, boo to you, because there's 5 people, that's one side of the group taken. Throw people in on the other side and let's go.
An enjoyable factor in the multiplayer experience was the fact that the voice activation was present. And, as well, push-to-talk was already on. Unlike other games, such as Doom and The Division, that key your push-to-talk immediately. Like, it just turns it on, and it might as well be an open mic. I don't mind games that provide that communication channel, but don't, pretend like it's an open phone call. That's really crazy. Shouldn't be treated like that, and it also kind of insults the privacy of the user. All in all, I'll say the multiplayer experience was pleasant. Yourself, how did you feel overall? I mean, these are little things, I'm picking hairs. The beginning points were my major issues with the game, but this was actually a-okay in my book. What's your story, sir?
I think the multiplayer experience was great. Honestly, for what we were expecting over a beta, it was probably the best we could hope for. So, was it balanced in your assessment?
For all of my complaints earlier on in the episode, I'd have to say yes, it is balanced. The key focus behind this is when individuals are choosing characters, over on the right-hand side, there's identifiers telling them what is necessary in the round to ensure that their team is competitive. I saw that throughout the round, individuals chose different characters due to the fact that other people would change. So if I went, let's say, from a support character to an offensive, or because I saw we didn't have enough, someone else, when they died, they may check the hero list and say, okay, we need somebody that fills these roles, and they would change, creating a unique dynamic that would consistently flow throughout the game. What about yourself? What did you see?
I think you're right from that perspective. From that perspective of what balanced means, yes. I think the fact that they're trying to give it a competitive, on the competitive seesaw, make everyone even that way. Here's actually what I'm throwing at. What I'm throwing at is that in the games that we either just utterly steamrolled ourselves, or the games that we were utterly steamrolled by the other team, did we feel like they weren't playing according to kind of the game schematic? Did they not have a tank? Did they have just like straight all damage people?
Well, there's no mystification is my thing, because I wish League of Legends would have something like that. That if they would adopt their own meta, as it were, and then label their characters. This is ADC. They have with Team Builder, and other games have started kind of going down this route. But Blizzard just keeps it up front,
Gotcha. That's what I was going to go with. Other than that, you did a wonderful job explaining was it balanced? That's one reason I just decided to go on the other way of at least, was it competitive? And I believe, yes, this game is completely competitive the way they want you to play it. Most people do. What was good in the game?
The diversity of characters was the best aspect of the game. Well, I didn't play all 16 characters. Time wouldn't permit, and also you want to learn a character over time to become familiar with the game itself through that point of view. But through the characters that I had played, the game is very enjoyable. It kept me on the edge of my toes. The maps were wonderful. They were illustrated to the point that I can see time and care was put into things. They also included character lore, which I'm not sure you noticed, but on like one of the like Nibia stages or something like that, it was one of the there was a support character named Lucio who was a DJ who that's the healer guy that I played for a bit. He was actually on pieces of like a flag or like a banner article saying he was playing at this orchestra thing, or he was playing, and I really while shooting that, I was like, wow, I just noticed something that brought the world a little more to life. Like, this is a guy I played.
Like you, I really did enjoy the in-depth amount of detail, like the theater posters in the theater level were hilarious. We had to spend like 5 or 6 minutes just looking at them and reading all of them. There are some certain parts of the level you just look at going, man, they did a lot of detail in the background, or those parts of the level we didn't know where they ended, and we jumped and like, hey, look, it's a cliff off into the ocean. Oops, why didn't they have a guardrail or something? Well, most likely we learned the edge of the map was there, and it felt like you were actually playing in a real environment, not, hey, look, this is like DS Dust where we have walls. It's a completely enclosed environment. It felt really open. So what was good was obviously map detail, the environment, the backstories that we enjoyed from each character, the fact you can go read some of them. I'll admit, I really enjoyed the opening sequence to the game. Just the amount of the ape character there was just like trying to be cool, and then failed, and like, all right, this is what's going on. It really brought the character out in him. And obviously here we are, we're not talking about in-game gameplay, we're talking about around the gameplay, because like we were saying before, it felt a lot like every other game we've played except for the little differences. So, what was bad?
What I found most disturbing about this game was the fact that there was so many things stolen from a lot of games that I'm sure they can paint a different picture on it, but at the end of the day, I could hear everyone, either in voice communication or watching videos, see like so many Team Fortress 2 things stolen, which goes back to why I felt I was so good at the game. I mean, Team Fortress 2, I have over 200 hours placed into that thing, or over 100 hours, something like that. I have a lot of time placed into that, and porting the skills over was just enough. You know what I mean? It was just half the time I felt like I was playing the sniper, or half the time I felt like I was with additional, like, not every character was the same, obviously, but that's what was very bad to me, is the fact that, and this is a Blizzard trend, it was cute in Warcraft, because in Warcraft they were doing it cheeky, they were making a meta joke. In this game, they're directly ripping off the mechanics, and I don't know. I'm very, I feel dirty about it. Like, I don't know. What's your opinion of it?
Well, I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's something that works and people enjoy it, obviously people enjoy playing the other, the variants beforehand. I even like playing freaking Counter-Strike, and all those games are all based off of it, and the original Team Fortress Classic.
No, but see, that's all Valve's property.
That's true, but I mean, here's the thing. There's how many other ways are you going to play a game? We already know Capture the Flag has been around forever. Everyone's ripped off Capture the Flag in something. King of the Hill has been ripped off forever. What game types haven't been ripped off?
Okay, everything is chess then. We can debate that.
Exactly. So it depends on your style of chess, is really what we're going down to. Do you like a more checkers variety of, I don't want to have to pay too much attention, I just want to get down to the action, or you're going to have more of your really in-depth spreadsheet chess, which you're probably going to have with Dust, and then it all really depends on how much difficulty and what kind of gameplay you want. Do you want something quicker, slower, more in depth? Do you want to have a setup beforehand, or do you want to have it on the fly?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the mechanics of the people who are playing. The mechanics. I'm talking down to the way the hitboxes, down to like. Okay, let me be fair about that. You're right. Valve has a better hitbox than this game. Valve was able to narrow that beam. I felt like I could aim a little bit to the right and left and still hit big characters like Roadhog and like not actually aim at them but aim close to them. Same with Tracer. There's a lot of hits that I got. I have no idea how I hit them in the head, but I did it. So, yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, Valve's a more accurate game. This is just a less accurate Steam game.
So, in my idea of what was bad, I'm not saying they're ripping off anybody, because there's only so many ways you can play two teams against each other in the universe.
But those hitboxes I complained about are kind of that's kind of console world. I'm just saying, console hitboxes, yeah.
So what was bad was the fact that it's too much like everything else, really, is what we're getting to. So, what would we change in the game?
It really depends on my first questions at the beginning of this episode. How is the matchmaking made and developed? If it is developed in such a way that I'm just competing against people who are my own level and worth, and I'm just stomping like lower levels right now, hey, that's cool. That's your ranking system. That's what you're gonna do. But I would definitely put different competition levels, different ranking levels, because it's not fair for like somebody who's just now picking up a first-person shooter, which most likely might be the case for a Blizzard fan. I'm not saying that no Blizzard fan plays it. I play plenty of first-person shooter games, but I play all games, so that's kind of my thing.
I think there needs to be a little more in-depth on how to use more of the melee characters, because that was really confusing right off, especially jumping in a run-and-gun game, and all of a sudden, hey, look, I have a shield and a big-ass rocket-propelled hammer. What am I supposed to do, and how am I supposed to work? The only way I really learned that was watching others play him, and then trying it out and realizing I sucked horribly at him. But give us 30 seconds. 30 seconds on each character. Alright, show us. Have a little video while we're loading into the world or something. Here are some of the cool things he can do. Each one, so we kind of have a visual representation. Because I'm like pushing this button, like, I don't know how I look. I don't know what I'm doing. I shot forward really quickly. Oh, I reloaded.
So, Jack, what would you give it as a verdict?
I would give it, especially if you can catch it during the free beta, a play. I wouldn't call it game of the month. I'd basically say it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll agree. I'll completely agree with you there. I don't see myself spending. Actually, I was told something to the effect that it is $40, but I'm even having a hard time coming to grips with that amount of money. Like for me, maybe on a $35, $30 Blizzard sale, but they almost never go into a sale on their games. And also inherently how fast it goes on sale will tell me how fast those microtrans are coming. So, right now I'm leaving it at bargain bin. You could say it's alright. I say bargain bin. Man, wait till this thing is at the bottom, as cheap as you could buy it, and right before then, maybe it'll go free to play. And the only reason I say that is because if you buy it in the bargain bin, you might get a whole bunch of cosmetic things that cost a ton of money for microtrans if it goes free to play. Now, if the game over like a 6-month period of time doesn't lose any value, I could see pushing my bargain bin to an it's alright. But as of right now, everything that's being displayed to me, everything that's... And I'm not saying Blizzard has shady tactics, but by playing Heroes of the Storm, I see them sneaking in things that I wouldn't necessarily call good gameplay. Like when they just threw Tracer in because she's now on this new thing and nobody else. Only Tracer into Heroes of the Storm. I would have liked to see Hanzo, or I'd like to see Junkrat. That would have been awesome.
Oh, I'm sure they're coming, but considering that Tracer is their flagship character,
Does not matter to me. To me, what matters is when they introduced her to that, the community went nuts because she became overpowered. Now, if this game goes free to play and that roster can get as big as they want because they can change the UI for the roster, how many more characters are coming down the way, and how many of them are going to be bought? And that's where I leave my suspicions. I'm not saying Blizzard will do this, but that is why I'm sticking to a bargain bin.
I can understand that.
And see, this is the gaming environment too talking, because I'm jaded right now for spending $60 on The Division, and that game going straight to shit over less than 2 months period. And I'm not picturing Overwatch going that road, but I will say this. When I started looking at that store that had all these things and they were coins to unlock versus just you can unlock them through playing over time, I got very apprehensive. Like, I could see if like every level you got to choose an unlock, but not coins. Because coins are the devil's playmate to microtransactions.
Yeah, I would basically leave it at random. Just let it random. Because I like loot boxes, and I like being able to play hard enough to get, love the idea of, like, if I play really, really hard, I get a loot box. And it may have 1 or 2 things in it.
Right, but see, the idea of the coin is Blizzard doesn't want you to feel you'll never get yours, But this is where I say they can do it at 10, 20, 30, and 40, just like they did in Heroes of the Storm. They allow you to pick something of a concurrent value of whatever they had as coin. All that coins tell me from playing is that there is a microtransaction store on the horizon.
Well, I think that pretty much covers it here.
This is Mog.
This is Jack.
Peace.